Hey everybody, welcome to EduMatch. Thank you so much for tuning in. So follow along with us at podcast.edumatch.org/tweet talk. In addition, speaking of EduMatch, then you could be the featured person of the day. All you have to do is go to our website at edumatch.org, look for the sign up button on the top right hand side, and just click that, fill out the form, and that's going to give you some info, or that's how we're going to get your info to be able to tweet it out over the course of 24 hours. So there's a little bit of a wait. But it's totally worth it because during that time we will tweet out your blog if we can find the RSS feed. We will add you to the awesome table of edu matchers, and we will tag you with matches as they come up. So definitely excited to have people continue to join us. So today we are going to have an awesome conversation about 360. We have an awesome moderator and an awesome panelist. So I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. Let's start first with Katie.
Hey Al, I'm Katie McNamara, high school teacher librarian out in Central California. Just got through doing California School Library Association conference this weekend, so I think my voice is a little off because of all the sessions and excitement there.
Totally hear you on that. That is very understandable. Hopefully you're drinking hot tea and honey to get your voice back. So yeah, but it's great that you are here. So thanks for joining us. All right. And then we're going to kick it over to our fantastic moderator, Jamie.
Hey guys, I am in a parking garage right now, so I have a little bit of an echo. Super excited to be here, especially with you two amazing women. And I cannot wait to talk. I could talk about this in my sleep because I love it so much. So thank you so much, Sarah, for an awesome topic.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. And y'all might recognize Jamie from last time where she moderated part one of this discussion. So welcome back. So great to have you both here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll also be a panelist tonight to round out the panel. So a little introduction to me. I'm Sarah, and I live in Virginia, work in Maryland, regional tech coordinator. I've been an educator for 13 years, and 10 and a quarter of those were in the classroom, every grade from 1 through 12 at some point within those 10 years. So crazy, crazy, crazy. And we also have Rochelle joining us. Hey, Rochelle, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good. So glad to have you here. So if you could please introduce yourself. You came right at the right time, and I saw that you were watching. So great to have you here.
Yeah, so my name is Rochelle. I'm a foreign language and STEAM teacher from outside of Pittsburgh, where I've been teaching for 21 years. And I teach a course in STEAM where I get to do all kind of really cool things with AR, VR, and hopefully 360. So I'm looking forward to just mostly listening in on this conversation because I got a chance to spend a lot of time with Jamie about a week and a half ago. So I'm happy to be here.
All right, awesome. So happy to have you here. All right, so I'm going to kick it over to Jamie for the very first question.
Hey guys. All right. So thinking about 360, when I mention that to people, sometimes there's like, what does that even mean? So I think it would be cool to get your perspective on what does 360 really mean to you?
Okay, I'll go first. If that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 360 for me, at least the first experiences that I had with it were when we started to use Nearpod in my classroom a couple of years ago, because that was the first chance the students had to kind of explore and look around things. And so it was fairly new to me. And then I've seen more of it. There's such an increase in the use of it for school, and then people who are uploading different 360s and images and videos. And I think that the learning potential for it is so great. My learning curve on it is definitely, I need to learn more about how to do some of these things. But just even spending time at the conference last week and seeing what the other people were doing with it, and just in my own mind thinking of how I could use it in my classes, it's something that I really want to learn more to do, or how to do it, I should say.
Are we getting Rochelle breaking up, or is that me?
I think it might have been Rochelle. It might have cut out for the last part of what you said, Rochelle. So if you could hear us, if you wouldn't mind just like repeating that very last part.
Oh my goodness, what was the last thing I said?
We don't know.
Great. Yeah. No, I just said that it's something that I've been trying to learn more about, and I see such an increase in the number of people that are using it, especially when it comes to education. And so it's an area that I'm not all that knowledgeable in, but I'm hoping to learn more about. And then I kicked it over to Katie.
Right, yeah, that was the part we missed. So when my kiddos don't know, because it's like a new thing, I just tell them it's, the sphere that you can put yourself inside of, and then really cool when you get to create that sphere. So a 360 can be at anything, anywhere. And now it doesn't have to even like really exist. The 360 could be an imaginary world, which is another layer of coolness. And I'm right there with Rochelle. I want to keep learning about it. New things keep on popping up, and yep, I want to be on it because it just makes teaching so much more fun.
Absolutely. And I'll pop in for my response. So 360, I really like I love all of it. I would say that my love primarily comes in the form of videos. Like I have a Ricoh Theta camera, and I love just like, taking videos, 360 videos, and just seeing those. So yeah, that would be my response.
Yeah, I think that, oftentimes when we're talking about 360s and connecting the dots with VR, it's interesting to hear like the different perspectives of, what does that include? What does that require? Oh, that's too techy for me, or I don't have enough knowledge to do something like that. But, I feel like there's some really easy tools that I know both Rochelle and Katie and Sarah introduced me to in a lot of ways, that we have used that does not require a techie person. It doesn't require somebody to be super knowledgeable, but really even our students can jump in and start doing. So why don't you guys share? Because I know there's tools out there when we think about 360, creating, experiencing, building from. But maybe if you guys can explain one tool, just one, so that, we all have a chance to speak up, because I can see Katie like ready to push the unmute button right now. Um, but, maybe share one tool that you think could be a valuable tool for somebody to jump in for the first time.
Okay, so I am all about creating. If we can't create, I don't want to really even deal with it. So using Google Street View is my number one spot to help be able to create the 360s. Most people have a smartphone. If you have an Android, haha, I know someone in here who doesn't, but if you have an Android, it is automatically on your phone. If it's not, you can download it and it'll walk you through how to make a 360. But I'll tell you, Google's wrong a little bit. Jamie is right. You definitely do not move your phone around your body. You move your body around the phone. It makes a huge difference of pulling it all together. So there's my one tool. And then like if the kiddos don't have a smartphone, I'm totally okay just giving them mine and having them create with it.
All right, I guess for me, I'm gonna go back to my first answer. I think I jumped the gun a little bit. But the 360 Ricoh Theta camera, I have the M15, which is like probably the first version or the second version. And I love it. I still bust it out on occasion, but I definitely want to upgrade because it gives you three minutes, I believe, which is enough time for me because I haven't made a video for more than maybe 1 or 2 minutes. But just the pixel quality, it's not where it could be. So for that reason, I would love to upgrade to the S. And I heard that there's like another one too, but yeah, I could see how cool that would be. I see how cool it is to make those videos. And really quickly, in our YouTube live page, then just wanted to give a huge shout out to everyone who's joining us. So, Micah, Peggy, Rochelle, see y'all there. But Peggy was also asking if any of us have participated in the ThingLink 360 activities. So, have any of you participated in that?
Hey, Micah. All right, I'm going to tell you that, Sarah, when ThingLink is definitely educationally focused, and the next question I was going to ask the panel that I think might tie into this a little bit is what they do with their 360s. So when you're creating them, Katie said it's super important to have that. Like, what do you do with it then? Where do you place it? What's the point of having a 360, right? How do I share that? And I think that might tie into some of those pieces that that Peggy might want to know about. And I will say that on the ThingLink side, I am curious if anybody has used it. I did the beta testing at the very beginning. It is a paid for product, so I tend to push the free, but I'm curious if anybody in the panel has.
I have not, but I saw that Rochelle said that she wanted to. She had signed up, but did not have enough time. But Peggy says she followed it quite a bit, but didn't try to create anything, and they had some awesome examples. So just kind of relaying that from the YouTube live. But could we pause for a second? And Micah, if you could please just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, what you do, anything else you wanted to share, and then I'm gonna kick it right back over to Jamie right after that.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, can hear you perfectly.
All right. My name is Micah Shippey. I'm a grade 7 social studies teacher in Syracuse, New York. I've been teaching social studies for 18 years and love the potential of 360 video and its opportunity to bring my students to new places.
That's awesome. And I'm muted here in the background, just so you guys know, because there's lots of music playing at this lobby here, which is great. Not so good for EduMatch. Sorry, Sarah. But Micah is such a rock star with so many incredible technologies. We had a chance to connect at ISTE for a bit as well. And so there's just, this panel is so great because I think you have a diversity of people that are doing various things that are all finding a unique way to implement 360s into their curriculum. Now, I will say on ThingLink side, if you have to have a subscription in order to use that feature. One of the features that I typically share out is RoundMe. It is not for education. It was actually made by some folks that were in real estate. So they were looking at it purely from the standpoint of like selling. Of course, it's become a lot bigger than that, but you can upload 15 for free. And one of the things that I like about RoundMe that ThingLink doesn't have is the directional sound. I was looking up their product the other day just to see if that was something that they added. They do have sound on there, but the qualification of directional sound, being able to look in different directions and hear it louder or more quiet, depending on where you're looking, I think is really a good feature for our students to be able to leverage explaining their space. So RoundMe is good. You can upload 15 free a month, which is plenty for the average user. I don't think that it really requires much more. But has anybody else used anything other than that or ThingLink that they want to share on?
No, but I was just having a conversation with students regarding 360 video and how to help your viewer know where to look. And audio is definitely key. So I haven't checked out RoundMe, but I'm pretty stoked to check that out. So thank you for bringing that up. Nice call.
Oh, absolutely. They have some cool like hotspots that you can add to it. You can create your tours with multiple 360s and create portals from one to the next. So like a school tour, maybe you want to prepare students for a new campus or prepare new students to arrive and you want to give information about like, you know, what the expectations might be or where they can find resources in the classroom. And then move from one spot to the next. I did it with a new build for teachers that wanted to know what their classrooms were going to look like because they hadn't been inside, but they needed to move their stuff. And so it gave them a chance to kind of help prep for what they needed to bring and what they needed to bring home. And so it was one of those ways for educators that was a benefit, but I think our students can absolutely benefit from creating. Has anybody used 360s with their students? Like, I know Katie has. I haven't heard from Katie, but what have you guys used that for?
So in creating 360s, I always have them go ahead and jump it into RoundMe as well, because I love not only like what Jamie said, you have the portals where you're like jumping. So if you're doing a school tour, you're walking down the hall, then you can go into a specific teacher's classroom and see where it's located. But then the magic of jumping into RoundMe is you can label things and make it interactive. So the teacher's sitting at their desk in the room, there could be a little label there with the teacher's name. Now the kiddo knows what their teacher looks like before they even get to class, and that can link to the teacher's email if they want, or any other information. So staying completely interactive like that. And it doesn't have to just be like the traditional like buildings. It could be like one of my students did the school farm and labeled where things go, what you do, what time of day. So a new student comes on campus and they're rocking and rolling out the school farm. They know exactly how it's supposed to look and what to do, when, and where.
I will say that on my end too, I just created I have a 360 that I uploaded from Austin, around the convention center, since we're here for TCEA this week. And I put all my sessions in 360. So instead of just like, hey, do this formal image that we always do, right? Have you go and explore this space. And I kind of added some characters and some silly things on there. But I used CoSpaces. So I took a 360, I uploaded that as my environment. And then from there, I was able to leverage the tools in CoSpaces to layer on top of those things, so that I was able to get, some interaction that they were seeing besides just a static photo.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have Mary Alice in here? Oh, you're muted, Mary Alice.
I'm here. I'm at the wrong hotel, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Mary Alice, great seeing you.
Hiltons, but I'm here with Amy. Hold on. Hi.
Woo!
Hey, got some TCEA folks in the house. TCEA EduMatchers. Great to see y'all.
Hey, Sarah. How are you? Leave it to me to
Good.
go to the wrong Hilton.
Let me ask you guys this. For those of you that have not used 360, so Mary Alice, your son created a 360, and it was talking him through it, giving him a chance to explore. How easy was it for a student to pick something like that up and use it immediately?
Okay, honestly, much easier than it was for me. Like I would have needed a little bit more for tutorials and like more practice time just because of fear. But I mean, he picked it up immediately, and he's continued to do them since he's been with you.
What does that mean for our classrooms then? So do you guys anticipate that if it's so easy for our students to pick up and create 360s, I mean, how should that transform our classrooms?
I think one cool thing about 360s is that it's an opportunity for students to publish to a global audience. We're in an increasingly paperless atmosphere, and our students' work is no longer put up on the walls since we're going paperless. So it's an opportunity for them to post, to Street View, to update their local communities. I have a colleague in Kentucky, Donnie Piercy, whose students went through the streets of their own town and updated it. And I think it's kind of cool that students can, again, not only contribute to their community, but also get what they all want. They want subscribers and hits. So it's kind of a cool thing we can do with 360.
That's so true. Being publishers of content is definitely what we need to emphasize for our students. That's a good call, Micah. And how cool that they're updating the content that was outdated. Like their expectation is immediate, right? Like our kids have like, hey, I want it now and I don't want to wait. And I don't think that's not accurate. That needs to be up to the minute. So I think it's great that they were active enough to do that.
Yeah, and the fact that it's free and it kind of supports a bring your own device type atmosphere is pretty powerful, I think, for kids. But that's with Google Street View. It's pretty simple. I mean, we can do it with expensive cameras, but they can, again, as we talked about earlier, do it with photo stitching, pretty simple with Google Street View.
So true. So true. Rochelle, I don't know if Rochelle's still in the panel or not. I know she's collaborating on YouTube Live, but she's still here. Rochelle, do you have
those reluctant teachers out there? This is just a great opportunity to, again, learn side by side with students. Like, let students take the lead and we're learning with them, not talking at them, but like learning with them. I think that's a really valuable point.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Rochelle has a 360 camera, and it's been a work in progress. Like learn from what she purchased, we got to kind of try to play around with it. We got some action of eating food that Rodney captured, which was awesome. But Rochelle, do you want to explain kind of like what has been your goal for using your 360 camera in the future?
Well, it's funny that you bring up that, well, when Sarah said about the 360, the camera that I had to buy last summer, and I figured out how to use it, but I was unable to try and connect everything through the Mac to upload videos. So I was really happy to take it to FETC, knowing that Jamie was going to be there and everybody else. And like Jamie said, Rodney figured out how to set it up and had it placed strategically at the dinner table so you didn't know when the photo was being taken because he had it on the tripod. So lots of fun with that for sure. But for me, what I wanted to do was to be able to use it with my STEAM class or even my Spanish classes and just take some different pictures and have the students kind of use them in creating with something else perhaps, or narrating a scene and having them maybe go on a scavenger hunt. Like there's so many possibilities that are out there in my mind, especially with some of these tools that are available too. But it's something that takes a lot of time for sure. And I did spend some time watching YouTube videos and then just talking with friends. So I'm always on the lookout for extra ideas, which is why I wanted to definitely join in on this panel tonight.
That's so good. There's, and Sarah, I know we have went over our time limit already. We got started a few minutes later, but if I can throw out one more thing here, we are asking people to take risks. And there's going to be some error. And I think mostly everybody in this panel has seen my very first 360 that I ever did. And it's had like, I don't know, 130,000 views. Pretty bad because it was not seen for the right reason. I think it's on a website of like what not to do with Google Street View. And I like butchered a whole classroom full of kids. But thankfully, everybody was super gracious with me. But, you know, maybe that's one thing, like the focus of any immersive technology that we talk about. Like, is this worth the risk? So let me just throw it out there and why.
I'd say it definitely is. And that's kind of an attitude you have to embrace with emerging technology is risk taking. 360 has such powerful potential to bring our students to places where they won't have access to it. And if they're creating, then they're going to understand what the photographer did. So creating that process of learning how to shoot 360 video and stitch it together, I think, is to help students be more critical about what they see in other people's work. So it's all part of developing a critical thinker in a digital age.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're looking at preparing kids for this future. If 360 is totally taking on the business world, our kiddos need to have a foundation on it. If they don't know how to make a 360, they're already going to be a few steps behind.
So powerful. So knowledge, understanding the process. 2, being prepared for future skills. Anything else, Mary Alice or Rochelle want to chime in, or Sarah as well?
I will say one thing. With the Google Street View, I got to watch you do that when we were at FETC, and I didn't have my camera available to try it on my own because I was watching everybody else. So last week I thought, all right, I'm going to totally do this because the first time I did it, it was awful, but I watched you and I thought I can totally do this. I totally could not do this. So like, you're going to make mistakes. If I would have shared, I think I deleted it, but if I would have shared with you, Jamie, what I did, you would be like, wow, seriously, that table's legs are on the cat or something. Like it was, it was a mess, but you're going to make mistakes and it's not going to go exactly as planned every time you do it. And even if you watch somebody and you think you can do it the same exact way, you may or you may not be able to, and you have to be okay with that. It's just, you just try again. And that's a lesson for the students as well. And I probably should have saved that if I didn't already delete it, but if I have it, I'll send it to you.
I agree. Everybody should share and save their very first 360. We should totally get our kids to do that. You know what? That's an icebreaker in sessions, truly. Giving somebody a chance to show where they failed and being okay with that is where we want to be. That's what we want to emphasize to our kids. So I love that, Rochelle, but you need to go back and find it and share it with us. Mary Alice, do you want to chime in, or Sarah want to chime in?
Sarah, all of you, only because it's loud in this lobby.
Okay, yeah, I'll just bring in what Peggy was saying in the YouTube live chat. She was making some fantastic comments, and she was saying that it's a perfect way for students to share their voices and not just be passive participants. And she also made mention that real estate people are starting to use 360 views to promote their sales. Also, a friend of mine was using 360 as a concert promoter. So, we're seeing it increase in a lot of different areas. So I think that it's great to be able to do the same in education, because that definitely has some potential career implications for our students.
And not only just is it important to like watch their first failed things with them, have fun and like experiment. So I happen to have an angry cat in my library, and my students were curious what it would look like if we moved the angry cat as we were taking our 360. So each time there's a picture taken, being prompted for it in Google Street View, we moved this little angry cat around, and it was hideous at the end, but they figured out what it would do, and they had fun exploring that.
That is so hilarious. And you know what? Like, somebody can literally be in every shot all around the room. So somebody needs to give that a shot. Maybe we could do that here at TCEA too and see what we can capture. But you're right, Katie, you have fun. You laugh, you rejoice on risk and failure, and and just say, you know what? We tried it. I'm so glad Rochelle tried it. Like, that to me is just, I'm encouraged by the fact that she was like, I made some mistakes. But all of us make mistakes at the beginning, and we all learn from those mistakes on how to change that in the future. And I think that's a mindset, a different mindset. And this is a piece of that puzzle that we can transform that mindset in our classroom. Sarah, do we need to give the challenge now, or is that something that you give later?
No, let's give it now. Go ahead and please drop it.
Okay. Yeah. So we were talking about creating your own 360. So we talked about Google Street View quite a bit. If you have a 360 camera, you can use that as well. There's also some other panoramas that you can create and 360s using different various apps, but upload it into a tool like we talked about, like ThingLink or RoundMe or CoSpaces, and then share out whatever you create. So is it perfect? No, it may be amazing, but we need to be inspired by something that is connected to what you're doing with your students or what your students are creating. So tie in those pieces to help other students spark ideas on how they can use 360s.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. And I'm going to share with y'all where Jamie is referencing our challenges. So I'm just going to do a quick screen share. So definitely we're all about extending the learning through EduMatch. So if you go to badgelist.com/EduMatch, and you'll see all of our challenges here. Huge shout out to Katie, who was very instrumental in creating this system, as well as Ben Room with Badgelist. So huge shout out to both of you. But if you come to our homepage and you click on the tag for today, 360 video, then you'll see that we have some nice badges here set up. So we have our mild challenge where you can share 3 tweets from tonight. So people will be able to see the learning. Medium challenge, you can hop on our Flipgrid and talk about what you took away from tonight's episode. And last but not least, we have our spicy challenge that Jamie just mentioned about creating your own 360 using Google Street View and uploading it into CoSpaces around me and sharing your project there. So hope to see all of the learning. So we want to definitely make the learning visible. And the really cool thing is that when you go to somebody's profile on the homepage, the badgelist.com/EduMatch, then you can see all of their badges and all of their learning. So for example, if I were to click on mine, then you can see different badges that I've earned here. So we definitely want to make the badging, or we definitely want to make the learning visible. Just wanted to give a huge shout out really quickly to Crystal, who's joining us on YouTube Live, and she's an instructional coach, and she uses a lot of 360 video to coach in the classroom. So thank you so much for joining in, Crystal, and for everyone else who was YouTubing with us, as well as chatting with us, like Sydney. So I just wanted to turn it right back over to Jamie to see if you had any closing thoughts or anything like that.
Yeah, I am completing a module with Who Knew It. specifically on augmented and virtual reality. And I have a video that is going to be going out that is targeting how to create your own 360s, what to do with them in the classroom, and where to upload them. So that will be released tomorrow. And I'm excited because that will be something that people can reference back to and do the trial and hop on and have a chance to really go and explore this, and hopefully help support you and your students. So sometimes getting somebody to walk you through step by step with a video on how to do it is a support. So hopefully that will provide additional support for those learners as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I really wanted to thank you, Jamie, for moderating a fantastic episode. Thank you to everyone on panel. So Katie and Mary Alice and Micah and Rochelle. Thank you to everybody who is interacting with us on YouTube Live, as well as on Twitter. So we're going to definitely have this episode available for you right away. And later it'll come out as an audio podcast. Really quickly wanted to give a huge shout out to Nicolette James, who sent me her awesome intentional educator planner. So this is fantastic. You have like dates in here where you can say what you intend to do, as well as a space to write on it. So love it. So you might remember her. She moderated the mindfulness episode. So thank you so much for that. So next week we're going to be off because I'll be heading to METC. So hope to connect with folks there. We'll be back the following week, and we're going to be talking about the empathy gap. So experimental topic, but just talking about how to build empathy, and what empathy is and what it is not. So definitely wanted to thank everyone for being part of this, and hope everyone has a wonderful week. Thank you all so much for your thoughts and for your knowledge. So have a happy Super Bowl Sunday.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Thank you.